So I think this is the first time I've ever recorded a YouTube video from my live stream. So, so welcome to my live stream. Welcome to the spaceship, right? Like, check all this out back here. Like, lots of cool stuff you can see outside. I don't exactly know where we are right now. I think we're headed towards Jakku. What's up, guys? My name is Koi, also known as the Alchemist. This is MTGAlchemy, and today we are going to be going over a Simic Ramp deck that was submitted to us by somebody in our Discord. Wednesday, we are going to be participating in the early access event on Twitch. Thank you, Wizards of the Coast, for allowing us to participate in this event. We really appreciate it, and we are super excited to dive into Theros. So if you haven't followed us on Twitch already, make sure you do. I'll leave a link in the description so you guys can do that, because we're going to be putting these decks together and playing them on the 15th. And you guys can still submit, even right now. You can go get on our Discord, submit these decks, and we'll try to run through as many of them as we can. So this is the Simic Ramp deck that was submitted to us by the Jinx. He's in our Discord server. He loves to help people with building decks, and also loves helping people with their drafts and stuff like that. He is one of many people that love helping with all of this stuff in our Discord. So if you haven't joined our Discord already, I'll leave a link in the description below so that you guys can jump in there and get to talking with many people that are awesome people that are in our Discord. So yeah, so starting off, we're going to go through each card one by one. There's some new stuff in here, there's some old stuff in here, and then we're going to bring Jinx in on the conversation and see what he's got to say about it, because he's the one that actually built this deck. He sent it to me for review, and then everybody on Twitch actually voted for it. So this is the one that we wanted to see. So in this deck, there's 4 Gilded Gooses. I mean, we're obviously doing ramp, so turn 1 Gilded Goose, you get a food. It makes mana out of food. It's pretty cool. So it's kind of self-explanatory. Paradise Druid comes into play. It's hexproof as long as it's on tap. Taps for 1 of any color. Hydroid Krasis. Hydroid Krasis is really cool. Of course, you guys all know what Hydroid Krasis does by now. But whenever you cast a spell, you gain half X life and draw half of X cards. Round down each time, and that's when you cast it. Flying Trample. Hydroid Krasis enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counter. So you can go and it's got Flying and Trample. So not only are you above them, but you're also doing, you're also trampling over top of them. So it's a super good creature. Hydroid Krasis is like a crucial thing in any Simic Ramp deck. And then Growth Spiral, instant speed, draw a card. You may play an additional land from your hand or you may put an additional land from your hand on the battlefield. So what's really cool about that, if they hadn't have, well, it's kind of a moot point, but if they hadn't have banned Field of the Dead, Field of the Dead's really good with Growth Spiral, especially in Commander, because you can just, instant speed, get zombies. But yeah, it's still a good card. So 4 of those, 4 Risen Reefs, Elementals, because they're card advantage as well. And then the new one is Euro Titan of Nature's Wrath. 3-drop, 6/6. When Euro enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless it escaped. Whenever Euro enters the battlefield or attacks, you gain 3 life, draw a card. Then you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. So a lot of things happen with this card. Even when you cast it for 3 mana, and it didn't escape. So you get the gain 3 life trigger, you draw a card, and you play a land from your hand onto the battlefield. So that's a lot to do for 3 mana anyway. And then when it escapes, and it only escapes for 4 mana, 1 additional, right? But they are dedicated 2 blue, 2 green. Exile 5 other cards from your graveyard. And then it escapes, comes from the graveyard to the battlefield. So that's pretty sick. And then those triggers happen again. So every time you attack with it, you gain 3 life, draw a card, and play a land. That's crazy, right? So and you definitely want stuff to sink all this mana into later, and we'll get into that here in just a second. But I think Euro Titan of Nature's Wrath, I think this is a super good card for this deck. I think it's going to work out really well. I hope I'm really curious to see where the meta ends up, and we'll talk about that with everybody in chat here in a second. But I really like this card in this deck, and I think it's going to work out really well. So it looks like 4 Brazen Borrowers in the deck. you know, it's got Petty Theft, the Adventure, return target non-land permanent an opponent controls to its owner's hand, and then it's Flash Flying. Excuse me. Flash Flying. Brazen Borrower can only block creatures with flying. It's a 3/1. Super good card, super good creature, and it really helps with temporary removal of things that you know you're getting tired of, like fires or something like that. Very good thing to push up back to their hand. Mass Manipulations is self-explanatory, but it's 4 blue, double X. Gain control of X target creatures and or planeswalkers. So I'm assuming that, you know, obviously the reason that this card is in the deck is because you need a mana sink to sink all of this stuff into. And it's not just take control of them until end of turn. You take control of them indefinitely. So Mass Manipulation is a really cool card for the deck. Nissa, Who Shakes the World. 5-drop, 5 loyalty planeswalker. She's got a static ability. Whenever you tap a forest for mana, add an additional green. I think this is you know, obviously another, you know, something to get more mana with. So you got a ton of mana to work with. You can pump it into your Mass Manipulation. You can pump it in your Hydroid Krasis, all that kind of stuff. +1, put 3 +1/+1 counters on target non-creature land you control. Untap it. It becomes a 0/0 elemental creature with vigilance and haste. It's still a land. So this is just a way to get more creatures, a way to swing in for more damage, and still have land to tap. And it's really cool because the lands have vigilance, so they don't actually tap when you attack, so you've still got blockers. Negate, you get an emblem with lands you control have indestructible. Search your library for any number of forest cards, put them on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. Super good card for this deck. Agent of Treachery, super good card. Agent of Treachery is really good. It's a 7-drop 2/3, and I know that sounds like a lot, but when this hits the field, when it enters the battlefield, gain control of target permanent indefinitely. Right? You always have it. And then at the beginning of your end step, if you control 3 or more permanents you don't own, draw 3 cards. So you start stealing stuff, and you're going to be stealing stuff with Mass Manipulation anyway. So Agent of Treachery is going to give you card advantage after you use Mass Manipulation. It's just, I think it's a well-rounded deck. Jinx, I think you did a really good job here. So walk us through the deck, Jinx. What do you think is going to be the end result? What are you trying to do with this deck?
You got most of it right, actually.
Win.
It's this hyper ramp. I'm trying to get turn 3 Nissa, turn 4 Nissa, maybe turn 5 Agent even.
Turn 5 Agent? Yeah, it sounds like...
With Risen Reef and Euro, who is basically Risen Reef on steroids, you could pump mana out fast.
Like, super fast.
Euro's insane.
Yeah, I'm curious to see, like, I almost want to see if there's a commander deck that Euro will be a good in.
Drop turn 2 Euro.
Did you guys ever watch that show with Bozo the Clown? Man, I need to find that. So this is the Orzhov Hush deck that was also submitted to us by Jinx. This deck is really cool because it runs Hushbringer. Obviously it's called Orzhov Hush, so it's gonna run Hushbringer, right? So I actually requested people to send me Hushbringer decks because it shuts down cat food. It shuts down all those like recursion decks, right? And ETBs and die effects, all that. So it runs 4 Hushbringers, 4 Johnny's Pride mates. So whenever you gain life, put a counter on. These guys get super big, by the way. Rotting Regisaur, 3 of those. 3-drop 7/6. That's never a bad thing. And then the new guy, Kanoros, I think that's how you say it. Kanoros, Hound of Athreos. So this shuts off creatures entering the battlefield from the graveyard. So again, cat food, right? Vigilance, Menace, and Lifelink. Players can't cast spells from graveyards. 3/3. I think this guy's super useful in this deck. I really appreciate the ad there. Heliod, Sun-Crowned. So he's a 3-drop 5/5 indestructible. If your devotion to white is less than 5, Heliod is not a creature. Whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature or enchantment you control. Tap 2, another target creature gains lifelink until end of turn. Super cool. 3 of those. 4 Mortifies. Destroy target creature enchantment. I think these are very useful in this format. Oath of Kea. These are cool. Because when it enters, you gain 3, and then you can do 3 to any target, right? Yeah, no. When it enters, you do 3 damage to any target, and then you gain 3. Whenever an opponent attacks a planeswalker you control with one or more creatures, Oath of Kea deals 2 damage to that player, and you gain 2 life. Super cool ad. I think that's also a very, very good ad. Bloodthirsty Aerialist. So whenever you're gaining life in this deck, you're putting all those counters on Bloodthirsty Aerialist. 3-drop, 2/3 flying vampire rogue. Whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on Bloodthirsty Aerialist. So super, super cool. Rankle, there's a couple of those. I know specifically that Jinx likes Rankle, Master of Pranks. 4-drop, 3/3 flying and haste. Whenever Rankle, Master of Pranks deals damage to a player, choose any number. Each player discards a card. Each player loses a life and draws a card. Each player sacrifices a creature. Super useful, actually, because if you've already killed something and you need the other thing gone, now you can attack with Rankle. All of a sudden now they gotta sack the other thing, right? So it's super cool. Sorin, Vengeful Bloodlord, 4-drop, 4 loyalty Planeswalker. Orzhov Planeswalker. As long as it's your turn, creatures and Planeswalkers you control have lifelink. So again, you're gaining life, which is adding to Bloodthirsty Aerialist, right? +2, Sorin, Vengeful Bloodlord deals 1 damage to target player or Planeswalker, and obviously that has lifelink because it's your turn when you activate it. Neg-X, return target creature card with converted mana cost X from your graveyard to the battlefield. That creature is a vampire in addition to its other types. And then Clackbridge Troll. I really like Clackbridge Troll. It's a 5-drop 8/8 with trample and haste. Whenever it enters the battlefield, target opponent creates 3/0/1 white goat. Let me restart that. Whenever Clackbridge Troll enters the battlefield, target opponent creates 3/0 white goat creature tokens. Here's what's cool about that. And I love this ad by Jinx. I love Grout tokens, I know. I love this ad by Jinx because it's a 5-drop 8/8 with an ETB trigger that puts goats onto the battlefield. And the second ability is at the beginning of combat on your turn, any opponent may sacrifice a creature. If the player does, tap Clackbridge Troll, you gain 3 life, and you draw a card. So I really appreciate the ad here because with Clackbridge Troll, you don't get the goats because of Hushbringer. So the opponent will not get the goats for Hushbringer, which will make them either sacrifice the creatures that they've paid for, or you just get to swing in with an 8/8 trample, right? Super cool ad there, Jinx. That's a good one. 4 Godless Shrines, 4 Temple of Silences, and then the rest I'm sure is split up evenly between swamps and plains. But yeah, I love this. I think this is a sick deck. I cannot wait to play this on Wednesday. So make sure you guys are there for that, and we'll see what happens because I'm definitely playing with this deck. Let me get Jinx in on this. So tell me what you got with this deck, dude. I love the Clackbridge Troll ad with the Hushbringer.
That was the deck I had before Theros. But
Oh, really?
everything in the deck is built on a Giant's Primate and Bloodthirsty Aerialist. We want to gain a whole ton of life and just make those two big as crap.
Right. And yeah, so really the only ads was Heliod and Kanoros, the Hound of Athreos.
That, yes, but Heloid, how do we pronounce? Heloid gives everybody lifelink.
Right.
And cards.
Right.
So
gives everybody lifelink.
Creatures become primates.
Yeah, that's really cool. So all the creatures become Pride Mates. Sorin also gives all creatures Pride Mates. So that's really cool. So Pride Mate triggers all over the place.
Now,
Plus, you're putting down big creatures anyway. I mean, Rotting Regisaur turn 3. And then
Rotting Regisaur with lifelink.
Yeah, Rankle turn 4, Clackbridge Troll in turn 5. Like, this is...
Now, I noticed this afterwards. Sorin and Kronos, the dog, do not work well together because you can't bring things back.
Right.
Then again, if the dog's dead, you can bring the dog back.
Right, that's true. But, I mean...
bring Heloid back.
But Soren's not even really. I mean, okay, yeah, his neg X ability can bring something back. But are you even really using him for that? Are you just like, are you just gonna keep plussing him and let all your creatures have lifelink anyway?
That's
Like,
the backup plan.
and so the neg X is one of those things where it's there, you can use it if you have the ability to. Like, you can use it if you want, but
What cutesy voice.
it's not something you're really looking to do. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. I hope I can see you guys on Wednesday, the 15th of January. It's going to be super fun. We're going to be streaming all of those decks that we went over just now. We're going to be streaming all of those and more, even more decks that people submitted to us on our Discord channel. And all of these links are going to be in the description below. I will link the deck lists in the description of the video, so you guys can get to those and download them and play them yourself if you want to as soon as the set releases. But yeah, we're going to be playing all these decks on the 15th, and it's going to be super, super fun. So come hang out with us. We look forward to seeing you there. But until then, happy gaming, and we'll see you guys next time on MTG Alchemy.
What's 4 yet? Probably 6 packs.
I'm going to keep this, even though I probably shouldn't. So, but I'm going to keep it.
I'm very frustrated if I go to pre-release and get third for the 7th set in a row.
Yeah, well, I might try to stream it, actually. I might, like, I don't know. I think I might try to, like, do a full setup and stream it that night. I think that'd be really fun.
You see, Koi, if you're not first, I will be disappointed in you.
If I'm not first. Dude, I'm not bad in drafts. Like, in, like, real-world drafts, like, I'm really not. Oh, yeah, all day.
Because you can talk and you can see people's faces, and it just has a better atmosphere.
And you can read them. And
Oh,
you know
yeah,
what they're doing.
that's the biggest thing. It's like poker.
Oh yeah, I'm also very good at reading people and making people think other things. I can't do that.
Oh, Justin, we have that in common.
I remember after I first started getting back into Magic, my first pre-release, I made someone very upset because they, I'm not gonna lie, they deserved to win, but I was able to like bring it to turns, play just enough things to bring it into a.
That's not your fault.
They
That's
were
their
upset.
fault for being dumb.
They were unhappy because they thought they had it. It was like, what if instead I
Ooh, Koi.
didn't die?
Yeah.
Chat. Check the chat.
You ready to play me tonight? Oh? You got something to bring, Meta? What deck you bringing, man?
He's more than ready.
Let me know. Dude, I'm going to be super mean right here.
Oh, Koi. Do it. Cassidy him.
That's why I've been ramping this whole time. I'm not going to take his Paradise Druid, but I'm going to take his Prowler.
And his land.
And his land. I'm going to do it again next turn, too, man. It's going to be sad. It's fine.
Good point, Metamorphic. Good point. I don't think you get a chance to, Koi. He's gonna point a scoop.
I know. He's going to... I'm going to do it again! Hold on.
Oh, God.
I'm going to take his Black Source. Oh, that's awesome.
Again, he's going to scoop. I guarantee it.
Dude, I hope I get another casualties. No lie. You can mock... Oh, he just scooped. Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm the Jinx.
I'm the Jinx.